Fellas, AC here. Welcome to another review. Now today I'm going to talk about a fragrance from a house which I have deep respect for. It creates one of the most amazingly creative, high quality fragrances. It's basically a fragrance house. When you buy a fragrance from that house, it reinforces the belief that when you pay for a niche fragrance, you basically get a very creative, very unique experience. The house is Serge Lutens. I've reviewed quite a few of their fragrances. Not as many as I would like to, but I've reviewed quite a few. And this one is called 5 o'clock au gingembre. 5 o'clock au gingembre by Serge Lutens is a very unique experience. It's a very, very special fragrance. I would broadly categorize this fragrance as a modern amber fragrance. Excuse me. So let's start. So when you first spray, I've been really enjoying this fragrance of late. When you first spray, oh, you think this is a bergamot and tea fragrance. Oh, beautiful. So bergamot, sparkly, rich and very zesty, but totally encased in a smell of the most lush black tea you can imagine. Imagine yourself serving the most amazing, most expensive Chinese black tea. Not Chinese, but black tea. And it's just, imagine the sensation of sipping on the most finest black tea and how it makes you feel. That's the feeling. Now, imagine candied ginger, and then imagine cinnamon rolls. Not sweet, just the smell of it, not the sweetness. And then imagine a little hint of black pepper, and then the most charismatic amber you can think of. And the amber is not like a Eastern amber. It's not thick, chewy or resinous. It is like an amber that you would find in Grand Soir. Yeah? It is radiant, glassy in texture, and it's rich, but it does not dominate the smell of the black pepper, excuse me, or the tea or the bergamot. That's the opening. So, wow. I mean, the ginger, the tea, the cinnamon roll, or the cinnamon smell, and the black tea. It is an experience, and it doesn't overwhelm your senses. It just is one of those fragrances which is quality all the way through. It's just beautiful. In the mid stages, the fragrance brings in a note of honey, and the honey is not animalic. Serge Lutens is famous for making animalic fragrances, but here the honey is very simple resinous honey, which goes with the ginger and the tea and the black pepper and the cinnamon. Yeah, I can just about smell the honey, and just that green tea, that freshness, the zestiness of bergamot mixed with the honey, paired with the ginger and the cinnamon and the woodiness is just on a next level. So why is this an amber fragrance? This is an amber fragrance because of what happens when the fragrance dries down. A lot of magic happens when the fragrance dries down. This is a base heavy fragrance. So when the fragrance dries down, it brings in a fantastic note of patchouli. And patchouli and amber, as I've said before in many of my reviews, is one of those very creative angle to amber. Amber itself is an amazingly complex note. Mix it with patchouli here, and then add a hint of chocolate. And the chocolate smells like the chocolate you would smell in a Swiss roll. So it's soft chocolate, not sweet, but very aromatic, and it's earthy patchouli and the amber that I mentioned, with hints of cinnamon, ginger, and tea. What a, amazing next level kind of creative fragrance. It's just, you smell this fragrance and you think, if I had known this is what amber can do, I would have gotten into amber a long time ago. People get into amber a lot later, like myself. because amber can be a challenging note, and most of the times amber is very overwhelming and very rich. So there's only selected places you can wear amber. Excuse me, not here. The amber is very beautiful, very modern. It goes along with those notes. It's never overpowering. It's part of the team of the notes I mentioned. This fragrance is different level. So let's talk about upsides and downsides, right? The biggest benefit or upside of this fragrance, good quality of this fragrance, is this is a hidden gem. It's a creative masterpiece, and nobody talks about this fragrance. I don't know whether I've mentioned this, but this fragrance was released back in 2008, and the perfumer is Christopher Sheldrake. Christopher Sheldrake has created most of the Serge Lutens fragrances, and they were an amazing team. So Christopher Sheldrake along with Serge Lutens were a winning combination. So obviously Serge Lutens passed away a few years ago, and that team is sort of fractured now. But excuse me, these lights are giving me a bit of a hard time today. But Christopher Sheldrake is a magician. Along with Serge Lutens, he was a wizard. And this is from that era, 2008, when both were churning out one amazing fragrance after the other. It's an assembly line. So this number one benefit or upside of this fragrance is how beautiful, how creative this concept is. To create an amber fragrance and add in notes like tea and cinnamon and chocolate and patchouli and create this experience, and yet getting that experience of basically an amber fragrance. Many people will say this is a tea fragrance. Many people will say this is an oriental, but this is actually a very bog standard sort of non-Eastern amber, conceptual amber. And it's been executed to absolute perfection. So next upside of this fragrance is the value for money. These kind of fragrances are so rare, and so widely available. Get it when you can. So a 50 ml Serge Lutens will cost you about 110, 120. 100 ml will cost you about 200. £2 an ml max. Well worth it. The kind of complexity, the kind of composition, the kind of creativity you're getting from this, unmatched. Value for money is tremendous. This is where I would invest money. It's like buying fine art. You know, this is so rare. This quality, this creativity is so rare. Such a beautiful concept and so beautifully executed. Third upside, amber fragrances are amazing when you are in a close quarter situation, either at work or in your romantic life, or you're sitting with your family or your friends, select friends, in close proximity. And that is where amber fragrances shine, because it just is a very comforting smell. It's a very warm smell. It's a very welcoming smell. Those are the things you want the other person to feel if you are in a relationship of trust, of love, of care, that sort of thing, you know. So close proximity is where this fragrance will shine. Amber shines in that. So never overwear amber. Amber is about getting people closer to you, bring them closer to you. So this is where this fragrance is tremendous, you know. And this is where you will get the most of your compliments. When you're with your special someone, or your best friend, or your colleague, or your trusted colleague at work, that is when they will go, my God, you smell amazing. What is that? You know, it's that kind of a smell. So, downsides. Not everybody is a fan of highly creative, sort of close quarter fragrance. They want performance. This fragrance isn't a beast mode fragrance. In spite of all the beautiful notes, this sits closer to the skin. It's a very close proximity smell. I wouldn't say this is skin scent, but it sits closer to your skin. It doesn't project as much. So performance could be an issue for some people, especially if you're spending £200 and nobody can smell you. Well, people can smell you, but it doesn't gun out as much. So that could be a downside. Price point could be another one. Serge Lutens in some nations, some countries can be quite expensive, quite difficult to get hold of. So price point can be a problem in some countries, but mostly in Europe, this is quite, you know, £2 an ml category. So it's quite affordable. this is a temperamental fragrance. That's another downside. This fragrance smells very different in different kind of climate conditions. Even in autumn, the best time to wear this fragrance is autumn. But even autumn, when it's sunny, it smells different. When it's raining, it smells different. When it's a little bit cooler than normal, it smells different. It's a temperamental fragrance. It works, at least on me, with your skin chemistry to give you a different experience. And that could be a very big deal, for some people. If you can't predict how you're going to like this fragrance on a particular day to another day. For me, it's brilliant because that's part of the experience. So that's the other downside. It's temperamental, this fragrance is. Seasons, autumn. Best time to wear this fragrance is autumn. This is almost like approaching Christmas. Almost reminds me of Christmas, with cinnamon, with tea, with ginger. It's that Christmassy feel to it. Okay, where do you wear it? Any place you want to wear this. As long as you keep your sprays, under control. You can wear this to work, to interviews, maybe winter interviews, date night scenarios, daytime date scenarios, functions, gatherings, anywhere, indoors. It doesn't have that kind of projection. So what's the performance like? You will get a full day's wear quite easily. 10 to 12 hours of longevity, not a problem. Projection is limited or reserved or personal and Serge trail. If you put it on your shirt, on your jacket, and you walk, because of the very high quality materials, it comes across as a wonderful trail scent with all these beautiful nuances. It's a fantastic trail scent. The only thing is if you are in a crowded environment and you want to sort of push out other fragrances so that they smell you, may or may not happen, right? So that's the performance side. Value for money. For me, the value for money is very high. For some people, it might not be, because not everybody's looking for a creative experience. So it could be slightly low. Seasons I've covered. Compliment factor, massive. This is a fragrance that completely takes over the senses and gives a unique experience. And people just go, wow, what is that? That kind of an expression. So you will definitely get complimented as long as you wear it right in the right occasion. Close quarter situation, definitely a date situation. Yeah, your significant other, your girlfriend, even your non-romantic partners will just think that you have got serious taste, very good taste. So those are the compliment scenarios, compliment factors. Age groups. I would say this fragrance is ideal for someone who has a little bit of an experience with fragrances and understands how amber fragrances work. So 25, 30 plus, I would say. Or if you test it and you think that this is brilliant for you, go for it. There are beautiful notes here. Tea note is just amazing. So yeah, I would say 30 plus, 25, 30 plus. And it just has superb quality, If you like quality scents, no matter what age you are, you're going to want to have this in your collection. So, marks out of 10. In my view, this is one of the most creative, well-executed, high-quality amber fragrance with note of tea and cinnamon and cacao or chocolate and patchouli. If you like those notes, do sample it at least. I think you'll be very surprised by how wonderful it smells, high quality, and just very satisfying olfactive experience. So, marks out of 10, 8 out of 10. Very creative, very well made fragrance. Hope you enjoyed the review, fellas. Take care. Bye-bye.